Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today's super fun, actually fun and informative, but we're gonna be talking about living in Denver, 2022 in review. Everything that was important, meant to be.
Highs, lows, all of it.
Whatever it might be, right? Let's dive into it.
All right, check it out, guys. What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. And if it's your first time checking out our channel, welcome. And while you're here, you're gonna wanna hit that subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell, because every Tuesday and every Thursday, we're dropping a new one of these and you don't wanna miss a single one.
100%. And we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number is popping up below. We are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if we can help you, we would love to. But with that being said, Denver, 2022 in review. Let's dive into it. And I'm just gonna start it off with a negative, because then everything else is positive.
There we go.
Negative. All right, so 2022. We did not get Aaron Rodgers. We obtained Russell Wilson. It's been a less than fortunate season under our new coach and new quarterback here for Denver Bronco fans.
Wilson dancing out of the pocket and throws it away. And once again,
hopefully 2023 has a turnaround and some change, and we get back into the competitive bracket called the playoffs. But that was something that was highly anticipated for this year, something that everyone was excited for. That football flopped right out of the gate. It didn't even start off in a good way. It went from bad to worse, right? So for football fans, one benefit is Denver is super competitive.
Are they?
And they love, he doesn't even watch sports.
Are they?
Yes, we're competitive. We love our sports. We hold it to a standard.
Yes, we do.
Bronco country is established on winning and being competitive and all of that good stuff, as you guys probably may know by now. So with the new ownership and with some other players coming through or whatnot, hopefully we can turn this around for 2023 and get back into having some good football.
There we go. There we go.
All right. See you later.
That's it. Your football ESPN update 2022.
I mean, look, the button. See the button? If the top is button, it means you mean business and you know what you're talking about.
He's official. Now, diving into the real estate market, guys, let's just give kind of a 10,000 foot overview as far as how we looked at the beginning of the year coming through to where we're at now, December 2022. Now, the year started off how 2021 ended. Full steam ahead, very, very, very record low inventory and extremely low interest rates. Interest rates were low 2s to 2.5%. It was insane. Everyone was doing refinances or buying a house. Everyone was doing one of those two things.
And you had more people doing refinances and buying houses, because one of those big pieces was, hey, if you got a home that you really enjoy, even though you have a lot of equity, even though homes are going for over asking, if you sell that house, you have to go be a buyer in a super competitive market, or you could just refi at that low rate and get some remodel done to your house and still enjoy it. So a lot of folks were choosing that. However, we still had a healthy market of bias, and we were still on pace and hitting the same numbers, if not a couple more than we did the year prior, as far as people still coming in Colorado, people still purchasing. So as far as our stability and our infrastructure and economy here, it was still well, but it was definitely a competitive market and super far over asking prices. But what was great is appraisals were still pretty much there, except for a couple rarities where people were going 100,000 over. But for the 25,000, 50,000 over, even sometimes 75,000 over, appraisals were still hanging tough for the most part, but did not let things get too crazy, depending on what people wanted to spend, which definitely helped the health of the economy, or excuse me, the real estate market that we are in right now.
Well, and the reason appraisals were coming in is because when you've got 15, 20 offers on a house and they're all coming in around the same price, even if it's $50,000 or $75,000 over asking price, that is an indication of value. Market demand is an indication of value.
And what is market? Market's people. So if people are willing to pay for that, and you've got that many offers, it must be worth that. But they weren't letting it get super belligerent where you guys might think that, like, hey, there's a bubble. Because as prices started to settle down, which is our next phase that we're going to get into, as prices settle down, because interest rates were gradually starting to go up, you didn't have like this huge bubble or this problem to where, when, people that bought a home 6 months ago now are upside down on their house by $100,000.
No,
not the case.
No, and as we transitioned and interest rates did go extremely high, not overnight, but it was about a 30 to 45 day process where they were incrementally, but fast increments.
And then one time overnight, from a Sunday to a Monday, they went up 156 basis points.
Yeah,
definitely hit like it's a historical high for, for the recent market.
So I would say mid-year, around April, May, June, you did see homes, and this is kind of where everyone was curious what was going to happen with the market, because homes that were on the market, that were sitting on the market, and then interest rates went up to where they were, and the issue that we saw was that people that were previously approved at a certain price point point, they're under contract on this home, or they get under contract on a home. Then once they lock in the interest rate where they're now 7%, now they don't qualify for the home. So there was this, some growing pains, I would say, as we kind of made this shift to where a lot of buyers were falling out like crazy. Sellers were a little worried, buyers were a little worried. But then once that sticker shock wore off, new buyers were getting pre-approved. People were getting pre-approved with newer interest rates. They became a lot more familiar with what their new affordability would be.
Well, and kudos to you guys. All of you were prepared, because all of our clients personally through the Mile High Property Brothers, we had nobody fall out of contract because the numbers weren't correct. We had one fall out because they just weren't in it for a house on the new mortgage payment that it would be, but they were still qualified for the home. They just decided it wasn't just the best purchase. They paused for 30 days, came back, got a different house. But everyone that we were working with was uber prepared. We were prepping you guys ahead of time of what it was looking like as it was gradually going up. We were listening to the market, where things were going, so we were prepared, which was awesome. And something else to keep in mind, even though interest rates went up and then these home prices started coming down because you had less buyers, more people felt we're at the top of the market, so more people start to sell. We are still 4 to 6% more expensive or higher price point than last year, right? So you still have equity in Colorado versus a lot of places that don't grow as rapid, that didn't have the right infrastructure or just the right companies and opportunity that Colorado has. They didn't necessarily reap the same benefit or sustain the same way that we did.
Yes, I do feel like, post-COVID, there was a huge amount of pent-up buyer demand, which I think that led to a little bit of artificial inflation, right? The whole country saw massive inflation. I do feel like that was partially inflated in Colorado. However, what's not inflated, what's not artificial is Colorado's economy. The amount of jobs that are coming here. Colorado's job growth last year was insane, and they're projecting even more this year. The companies that are coming here are phenomenal, and Colorado has always had a great baseline, super solid economy as far as jobs go. And when that's your baseline, when that's your foundation of your economy, your state's going to be okay.
Pacing out everything as far as as we're coming up on the end of the year, we have done the same amount of deals as we did last year. I think we're down 2 deals.
We did 98 98 from you YouTubers before. We were 102 the year before.
So 100 deals just from YouTube alone,
yes.
Right? So we're super close, but the price point has gone up. But I will say, when we did have that slowdown about 2 to 3 weeks where that interest rate was just climbing and nobody really knew hey, how high is this thing gonna go? No one could really speak to that. So there was this 30 to 45 day slowdown and then a 2 to 3 week kind of pause where people just weren't sure. But once that interest rate stabilized and then gradually came down about a month later, that's when everybody started to creep back out, because then you're okay, this is the top. It's at 8, it's at close to 8, but now it's starting to come down. Franny and Freddie did say that next year it will be coming down even further. We're going to get to that in a second. But that's where some of your buyers gradually started coming right back out again, and then the pace picked back up for the remainder of the year. And what was great about that is your inventory was still really high, especially for Colorado standards. Typically, we have 3 to 6 weeks of inventory on the market at any one time, and it's been no more than 6 weeks of inventory on the market at any one time for the past couple of years. Then no, that's not a buyer's market, but for Colorado, that's kind of the market that it's been. Benefit right now is you've got extraordinary amounts of inventory, several months of inventory. Interest rates are starting to come down. They're only going to continue to come down, but you still got some great inventory. So what does that mean for you? Your opportunity and your options that you have as a buyer, me being one of them. We just bought another home recently. If you guys watch our videos, you know that, but we just bought a house 2 months ago. The inventory and the pace, which you can eyeball some things, go look, discuss decisions, make that right decision versus a year ago, 10 months ago.
Yeah.
It was so fast paced. There was 5 homes on the market. You were doing whatever you could to get one of those homes. Now people that had to do it, no problem. They're happy. We won offers, all good. But right now you just have a little bit more time to make the decisions that you want to make and have plenty of options as far as inventory to just really kind of have pick of the litter, which is what we did. We went to South Shore. We got a corner lot, amazing ranch. We're so happy right now. Where the interest rates slightly higher than what they were a year ago. Yes, but it also wasn't this. Instead of that market, we had a little bit more time to discuss and make those options. So, and most of your buyers, what we're hearing from a lot of ours, is they'd rather have a slightly higher interest rate and get a buy down from the seller to bring that interest rate back down into the low 5s or low 4s even, and have that, but have the options in the house that they want and the refi a couple years from now, versus getting the 2.5 out of the gate, but then there's just not really the home that they want, or if there is, are we even gonna have an opportunity to win that, or is somebody else gonna come in and overbid us? And that was just slim pickings, right? And necessary, If it was necessary to move here, no problem. But for the first time in Colorado, I feel like our economy is getting super healthy in a sense of interest rates coming down, but inventory is still high. Buyers are coming back out. Like, it's a great time to be a buyer for the next 12 to 24 months.
It is. Tons of opportunities for buyers out there. And that led us into the last half of this year where lenders were quick to make pivots. Good agents are quick to make pivots and start looking at tools that we have within our industry to get the best of both worlds for our buyers. For example, we've been talking about it a lot, 2-1 buy downs, interest rate buy downs. Quick recap, that's where the seller takes equity from their home and they offer concessions at closing that you can then apply to buy down a lower interest rate.
Correct. And even though home prices are a little bit lower than they were a year ago, because there's still plenty of equity here in Colorado, it still left sellers plenty of equity to give money toward a 2-1 buy down, which is awesome. Like, even for myself, we got $25,000 in concessions for our buy down to bring our house 2 full points down, put it right where we needed it. It was awesome. And lenders were also very happy and energetic and eager to work with buyers. We went from contract to closing in 8 days on our home in South Shore, right? So a lot of good things can come from that. And speaking of good things, even though the beginning was not a good thing, I feel like we have a good thing coming. It actually has arrived, and that's Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
So Colorado football, University of Colorado has hired Deion Sanders, football player, Hall of Famer.
Okay, and University of Colorado Boulder, correct?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Is there another
Boulder.
University of Colorado?
Well, they might not know that, so I don't know.
He definitely doesn't know it. Either way, we're throwing some Deion Sanders up for you.
To the left, takes it on the 32, dropped it, picked it up. One man missed him, another man missed him. Now he's going wide off to the right. Deion to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. My God, Deion Sanders is going to score. My God.
Deion, he is our head coach for University of Colorado at Boulder. That is bringing a ton of Tier 1 collegiate athletes that are following him to compete at the collegiate level in football here. And as I'm sure you guys know, what that does for Boulder, what it does for the economy, what it does for everything in and around that area is phenomenal. And for us football fans, if for some reason the Broncos are still in a rebuild, we've got Colorado football and we got Deion Sanders to watch to get some wins under our belt just to cope with what the Broncos are going through right now. And hey, maybe some of those players will end up playing for the Broncos. But either way, that was just announced within the past 2 weeks. So really super cool that we've got that. And it also just goes to show where Colorado is going, because for the longest time when it comes to NCAA sports, especially football, it's Alabama, LSU, Clemson. It's all of your SEC conference that usually gets the clout, right? Like Southeastern Conference.
Gotcha. That's where I lose it. I'm actually good. The Deion Sanders, I'm good. Boulder, I'm good. Conferences, all that. That's where I start really losing it.
But for Deion Sanders to have a ton of opportunity, but he's choosing to come here and change this football team. Don't think it has nothing to do with that school, where the economy's at, where the future's at. Don't think that it doesn't have things to do with that as well. So super cool, super excited for that.
Yes. Now, guys, I want to make sure that as we're talking interest rates and market and all of that, we'll get some comments where people have some opposing opinions. And I want to make it clear that, hey, when we're talking, we are talking Colorado specific. We're not talking nationwide. We're not talking every other state that's out there. All states are going to have different data, every little place. We're talking specifically to Colorado. So projecting towards next year, personal opinion, Will may have a different opinion, but personal opinion, I think, we're still seeing 4 to 6% growth right now. I think 2023, we're going to see home prices stabilize. I don't think we're going to go down. I don't think we're really going to see a whole ton of appreciation. I think with 2024 coming up, an election year, I think a lot of people are going to move in when they have to, and moving because they want to, and moving because they see a ton of opportunity.
I also don't think elections hurt everybody as much like they used to. Like back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like everyone was putting so much weight on an election. Nowadays, especially from like our clients, they're moving and grooving, man. Well, they got stuff to do, and they've got careers. They're out doing their thing regardless of what happens with elections.
And that's what I think is going to happen. I think a lot of people who have been wanting to move but have been scared because it's so competitive out there, they're seeing the opportunity right now with interest rates and the amount of inventory that's there. So I could see 2023 being stable. I don't see us going down, but then 2024, I think interest rates are going to drop down significantly again, and then I think we're going to start shooting right back up.
Right back up, and you'll see usually an influx. Like every couple of years, you'll see some home prices start to go up, and a hard reason, or at least a solid reason why we don't think that prices are going to continue to go down, but stabilize this coming years, because you still have a consistent amount of buyers coming through Colorado still purchasing homes. If we didn't have any buyers out there, they're going to continue to fall until people hit their rock bottom on what they just have to sell something for to get out of it, and then so on and so forth. But because because you have such a consistent level of buyers that are coming through Colorado, even through the pandemic, even through higher interest rates, we were still having a consistent level of buyers, and that's still true today.
Yes.
Well, there's just not a need to continue to drop home prices when you have a consistent level of buyers coming through.
We're not, like, we have more inventory. We have a bunch more inventory we used to have, but our inventory was so low. We still don't have a lot. We have a lot more than we did before, but you don't have just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes just sitting on the market doing nothing.
No.
So with that somewhat limited supply and the demand still there, that keeps the market strong.
But the supply you guys are used to in Colorado is significantly more. So for example, what they tend to call a buyer's market is if you have 6 months of inventory or more, which means if no more homes come on the market, it will take 6 months for all of those homes to be purchased. 10 months ago, we had 3 weeks of inventory, which means, hey, if no more homes come on the market, all of these homes will be gone in 3 weeks. That's pretty low. Right now, we're back to a couple months of inventory, which is still considered a buyer's market. But I will say for Colorado and just being typically above the norm, at least above 70% of the country, like this is a lot of inventory for Colorado. You've got a lot of options, and because prices have settled, bang for buck, you guys are getting some great opportunities.
Yes, there are.
Another opportunity is that number popping back up below, reminding you that yes, we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, and yes, just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs.
That's right.
So that number that is still up below are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and emails. If it's something we can do to help you, we would love to. And hey, Dion, if you're looking for a house in Boulder, we do a lot of work in Boulder. So Dion,
that's right.
Hit me in stride. We run a 4.240 when it comes to houses, buddy.
See you guys.
See you guys.